Yo, what's good? It's your boy Drew. Today we're back in another story time. This time when I got fried out of my mind at the Barbie movie. Now, take a sit back, have a listen. Hope you like the video. Drop a like if you do. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Now let's get right into the story. So, this happened over my summer break. To give some context, the majority of my friends, we all dispersed across the state. Because the high school that I graduated from, it was a boarding school that anyone could go to from your state. So, in essence, you could be 5 to 7 hours away from your best bud when you were dorming with him. And that wasn't uncommon. But fortunately for me, my buddy Tucker hits me up and says, "Hey, I know you live about like an hour for where I'm gonna be at in about a week. You wanna go like hang around? We can drop acid, stuff like that." I hadn't had acid, so I was hyped, bro. Anything to get me on a tab, bro. Because especially after what happened to the first one I got, it didn't go so well. I didn't end up even getting to take it. It vanished. But that's a story for another time. Either way, my conversation with Tucker eventually planned out to where we were gonna hang out. This, that, and the third. And by the time I eventually roll up to where he's staying at his aunt's house, about an hour away, on a cool summer day, he says, "Bro, Noah isn't gonna be able to come." Noah's the other guy that was gonna come as well, and he was an acid dealer that had gone to the high school I graduated from, but he didn't stay after his junior year. Either way, Tucker informs me as I'm tapping him up that we're having a huge change of plans, complete pivot. You know, we're not just hitting the heel click and spinning around. We did a full tailspin over ice. We drifted past the sand dunes, and so Tuck dropped the bomb about Noah not being able to come, and then he sat me down, and I was just chilling in his aunt's house, waiting for him to get ready to go. So I was just like kind of sitting in his front room, just waiting, and he finally comes down. I end up saying like hi to his aunt, walk down outside, and I get into the car, and I cannot find my pen. So this pen, it was a ooze pen with a Mellow Fellow cart that cost like $30 for some reason, but it was like 2 grams of the purest THCP I had ever had in my life. It had changed my summer. It had changed my horizon on the future. It changed my perception on life. I mean, it felt like I had no tolerance. 3 blinkers every single time. I barely was verbal. It boom, like it it was a math equation that never went wrong. It you know, it 2 plus 2 equals 4. Either way, I become kind of frantic about this pen, right? Because I'm thinking I left it in Tucker's aunt's house. And bro, I do not want to get responsible for kicking Tucker out. He was very clear when we were texting that we couldn't do anything at his aunt's place. Unfortunate to me, I'm very aware of this and immediately tell him this. Then we both make the dash back up off the street, out the car, out the coupe, and we managed to scramble our way through the door, not trying to not make a sound. I immediately check where I was sitting. He like goes looking around the room as well. We realize not there. He ends up going and asking his cousin because he thinks that his cousin took it for whatever odd reason. That makes me kind of feel nervous to ask why he had to stay there. Either way, we ended up tailing back to the car. I was feeling pretty dejected, but Tucker had some edibles, and he was saying like, "Hey, I got you if you need." And I knew like I could just like head back to the smoke shops in my area that I would have like 5 within 10-mile radius of ooze pins and something close to what I had. But I ended up like reaching down as I sat into my car, and I see the like gleam of that golden rosin, and like uh I start I cursed myself. Fuck. And like, Tucker, bro, I found it. And he's just like, bro. And we both like relieved as fuck. I found myself stopping to get snacks to go and see the Barbie movie. Traditionally, I'm not typically someone that you would expect to go see the Barbie movie. I'm really into like action movies and fantasy stuff, like Lord of the Rings and Star Wars and Marvel and dystopian stuff, the Hunger Games, the Divergent series. I'm not the type of person to pull up to the Barbie movie, but when it's with my buddy Tucker and when it's promised and anticipated that we're going to get zooted out of our minds, I don't really care what we're doing. Shoot, we could just sit in porta... No, I don't want to sit in porta potties. That's... No. We could sit in a McDonald's. Yes. Wait. Yes, I can say that because I've done that before. Yes, I'm willing to get zooted out of my mind at a Mickey D's, maybe a McChicken, get some ice cream or a milkshake, some shit like that, and like a Diet Dr. Pepper, Diet Mountain Dew, something like that. As we were purchasing these snacks and stuff at this Dollar General that Tucker directed me to, Tucker makes the overarching decision that we're going to see Barbie, and then after we get out of the Dollar General with our goods, we realized that we had like 3 hours or 4 hours to kill until the movie. So we ended up just like driving to this random mall, and it was just pretty sad. Just proof that mall culture in America is dying, and just the whole Bezos is bigger movement, like that's very real. And I don't know. It was very interesting. We like walked around a bunch of like knockoff Hot Topic surplus places, and Tucker ended up finding this Hustle Bear shirt, and he only had Cash App, so I ended up realizing that he didn't have any way to pay for anything. I was like, oh, that's okay. And then I started like realizing in my mind like how much money I had in my bank account and that I hadn't paid my bills yet. And I was thinking he wouldn't being able to pay me back, but Tucker's a G. He hit the homie with the Cash App, and he copped his Hustle Bear tee. We fucked around in the mall a little bit more. And then we walked back to the car, grabbed our snacks, and we went into the theater. It was kind of whatever. We sat in like the really like maybe 4 rows from the first row, like really freaking close. And there was like a mom and like 5 kids that were like definitely a family that she was walking, like her 1 or 2 of her kids, and then like 3 or 4 nieces and nephews. And I was like, fuck, because I still hadn't hit my pen yet. Because of the way this thing smacked, usually I'm pretty fine to drive stoned, especially now, but like back then, especially when I had that, because I haven't been able to find that specific cart since ever, like that was dangerous to be behind the wheel impaired off of. Like that was too much, my guy. So we get into our seats and we're getting situated. We have our snacks, we have our drinks, we got them out of wherever we had them hidden. They were like in my bag. And as we're getting situated, Tucker pops his gummy, and I pull out my cart, and I'm just like, I like lean over to him while I like kind of press the pin down beside me, like, bro, I don't know what to do. Like, I can't. And he's like, bro, you just gotta ghost it. And that's exactly what I did. I did a blinker, and then I held it in for as long as I could and tried to let it out. And then before I thought about like putting it out in my shirt, I'd like let a piece of it out. And I like didn't want to like bring attention to myself. I was like, I just hope they're not staring in my direction. But the mom definitely saw, because she like, as I like put my shirt over my mouth, she like made an angry grunt in my direction. I was like, fuck. And one of her kids made a remark, but she was able to play some shit off, and the movie ended up starting. To be honest, this is probably the shortest part of it, because the only two parts of the Barbie movie that I can remember was me wondering why in the world was Barbie like so crushed by cellulite, and like fathoming of it, and the Mojo Dojo Casa house sign, like that's the only two things that I remember. We get out of this thing, and I'm sort of starting to come down. The munchies hit ridiculously hard. I guess because it was like 2 o'clock at that point, and I hadn't had anything to eat yet, and that was the first thing on my stomach. So I got popped flat. Anyways, I end up with Tucker walking outside this movie theater. We end up back towards my coupe, and we start driving around, and Tucker and I are like neither of us have eaten at this point today. It's almost 4, and it's like 4 p.m. at this point, and we ended up over at Chinese buffet. And dude, we got in, and this was one of those places where they kind of take advantage of you, and I mean that because they'll go in and they'll sit you down, get you everything ordered before you can speak. They'll snap you up as a customer as fast as you can. And then they didn't tell us how much it would be, and I remember it being $15 a piece or something ridiculous. And as soon as we got in, just got one plate. I think Tucker went back, but I don't know if maybe I was starting to green out but I was just feeling sick as fuck. And the over sugared chicken, and none of it was appetizing, and it just made me feel worse. I tried half a bite of everything, and I ended up going to the bathroom and just puking, and I felt much better, but I just felt really drowsy, and I started to clear up as I drank the rest of my Dr. Pepper, and the rest of my Diet Dr. Pepper, and we were in there for maybe 20 minutes, but we were just slumped down, it beat our ass, and the food did not help, and we ended up, I think the whole environment of it all, just it was a depressing buffet, but it was packed, so it was just depression in a sardine can. And I don't know, I don't even think sardines deserve to be depressed. Nothing. And we walk back out. We end up driving around, and we end up parking at this trail. We walked down maybe 10 feet of it, and it's getting to 4:45ish at this point, realizing we gotta head back home, but I just want to come down a bit more. And he's definitely thinking, and we're both just kind of contemplating life, I guess. We both respected each other in our silence, and we started a little bit of conversation here and there, but we mostly were reflective after that point, and it was kind of bonding in a way that it was more than just the moment. We kind of finished sobering up. We'd take a few selfies to close out, just to have a couple memories. I drop him back off at his aunt's house, and I head back. I head back home, and I didn't get to see him again until the second story in the 3 times I said this edible ain't shit video. Anyways, I figured by now some of y'all might be interested in what I've been cooking up. Here's a listen. If you've made it this far, thank you so much. It really means a lot. I hope you liked the video. Drop a like down below. Don't forget to subscribe. As far as my socials, it's Screw Druid everywhere. I'll catch y'all later. Peace.